An inside look at the links at Fifth Third Field. A new sport creates buzz in Rossford. And go-karts rev up in downtown Clyde. My name is Kate Longenecker, and a brand new episode of The Light Side starts right now. Learning the fundamentals of volleyball is key at a young age, and for local kids, they got the chance to do so at a free volleyball camp hosted by BCSN. Children of all ages with a passion for the sport came out to Toledo Christian, where they were taught by experienced volleyball players and coaches.
Yeah, so we're really lucky this year to have some guys from Sonny and Denny from Owens to help us out running the clinic, and we have several people from Owens players as well as Lords. We also have Ashley Frazier, who played at Kentucky and now plays professionally. So we have a really nice variety of very qualified and very talented coaching.
How much do you think the kids can learn in a day?
I think kids can learn a lot in a day. They can learn a lot in an hour, and they can learn a lot in a minute. So it's just a matter of their willingness to be coachable and how much fun the coaches make it for the athletes. So I think there's a lot to be learned in 3 hours.
The coaches were certainly making it fun for the athletes, especially since they remembered their first camps in a positive way.
Oh yeah, I did. And I always grew up being so excited to hang out with the older girls that were already in college and so excited if they even talk to me. So yeah, it's fun to come back and give back.
I used to come to all these camps, all the little ones, and it was just fun to be around the big girls and see what they had to show. It was great.
Libby was working with the youngest group of kids at the camp, who progressed well throughout the day.
So I had the youngest group. They were great. They're the start from scratch kids, so it's fun to see how far they come from, the first hour to the last hour.
Ashley was on another court teaching setting and observing as the girls did an actual match to work on positioning. Two camp participants, Carson Wolf and Caitlin Hennessy, are currently playing at Bedford Junior High and use the camp as a tool to improve their skills.
The setting, footwork, and to wait when to hit.
So those things that you knew you needed to work on a little bit, or they just kind of showed you today what they thought about it today?
I needed to work on them a little bit more.
Right, what about you?
I agree with her. I really learned about the setting and mostly in hitting and approaching, so I definitely need to work on that.
Setting, hitting, and approaching were just a few of the techniques the coaches were teaching the athletes. And they all preach the same basic principles to the kids who want to play volleyball at a higher level.
Just keep practicing. Practice makes perfect, like everyone says. So even if it's just out in the front yard with mom or dad, go out and get some touches on the ball. And effort. Coaches love effort. If you want to make the team, show them that you care and you're diving on the floor for a ball.
Practice anything you can do. You can do 100 things against a wall. You can play with your mom in the backyard, anything. There are a million club programs in the area. I came from Premier. If you're unable to do that, just practice with your friends, with yourself, with your family. It's a lot of fun. Volleyball is supposed to be fun, so any practice you can get is great.
At the end of the day, the participants joined together for a group photo, and hopefully they can take some of the pointers they learned with them throughout their volleyball seasons. And you can join in on the fun as well. If you go to bcsn.tv, you can find out more information on upcoming camps, one of which is a basketball camp coming up here in October. Fifth Third Field, typically used for Boy Scout camps in the summer, but lately used for a much more unique purpose. Sports Nightly's Ken Watlington has more.
During a typical off-season, the grass at Fifth Third Field looks a lot different. Turf manager Jake Tyler and his crew are usually resodding, fertilizing, and getting the field ready for the winter. But with Winterfest coming up and hockey being played on the field, it's not business as usual. The hockey rink will pretty much ruin the field, and that's okay. It's past time to be replaced anyway. That got Jake thinking.
It's an idea we've been thinking about for a couple of years personally. I just always thought it would be neat to play a little bit of golf on the field. We get a comment all the time, whether it be a player or other media that come through, and they always joke about wishing they could take a pitching wedge onto the field.
With the idea to put a miniature golf course in the heart of downtown Toledo, Jake sat down and started sketching some ideas of how to turn the home of the Hens into the Lynx at Fifth Third Field.
This is a Jake Tyler signature course. My assistant Corey Myers has been really good at helping out. We've kind of taken each hole one at a time to design it out and lay it out so that it flows together.
They started laying the course out and found out they had more room to work with. So what started as 18 holes turned into 36. Today, most of the holes have been cut, cups placed, and practice shots taken. What you don't see is all the work that it took Jake and his assistant Corey to bring it to life.
About 3 weeks before the season was over, we started drawing the course out. Once the course was drawn out, I actually started mowing the course in the day after the last Mud Hens game. Came in the next day and we started with hole number 1 and started doing some test heights with it to see how fast we could get the ball to roll on this type of grass that we have. And once we saw that we could get that done, then we started laying out the rest of the holes. And so we've been working on it for about 2 weeks.
Turning a baseball field into a miniature golf course has never been done before. The grass would be way too short for any game of baseball, but is it too long for a round of golf? The guys had only one way to find out: cut it and play it.
Took a little bit of research on how low we could get it and a little bit of trial and error to see how short we could mow the grass. It's not easy. A 6-inch putt is not a gimme putt, but it is, a hole-in-one is obtainable on each hole. A par 2 will be easy. There will be some that will be definitely more challenging than others.
How does Jake know a hole-in-one is possible? By playing the holes, of course, making sure that the scratch golfer all the way to the 5-year-old with a plastic putter can have fun on the field in a once-in-a-lifetime setup.
Coming up later in the show, more from the links at Fifth Third Field. But coming up next, I just got to try a new sport that I had never heard of before. Stay tuned. One of the fastest growing sports in the country has made its way to Rossford, Ohio. And let me tell you, it shows no signs of slowing down. It's called pickleball, and many compare it to a mixture of badminton, tennis, and table tennis. I asked local pickleballer Marcia Cuck to break down the game from a player perspective.
Basically, the sport is more of a strategic and placement sport rather than a power sport. A lot of people look at it and think it's power, but it's really strategy and placement and partner syncing.
Marcia and her partner were syncing during her most recent big pickleball win at the National Open, where they took 3rd place. For her, she started playing in Arizona after hurting her hand and being unable to play tennis, but pickleball was something she could do even with her injury. Although it started as a substitute sport, it quickly became a permanent choice.
I think just like you guys kind of found out, it's fun, it's kind of addictive a little bit. You get out here and you realize you don't have to overpower it, but yet it's a smaller court, you're not running all over the place. And the baby boomers have really escalated it. I mean, if you look on the USAPA website, basically it's grown from like 700 places to play to over 3,000 within a 4-year time frame. And so basically the snowbirds are coming back, they're kind of bringing it back to their home states, and it's just growing from there because it's fun, it's addictive, and it's for all sports and all ages and pretty much every demographic.
Some demographics may be unfamiliar with pickleball, and it's really a sport in its own class. Al Hager, who is also an experienced player, explained the equipment and how it differs from the other racket games.
The ball would remind you of a wiffle ball, but it's a harder durometer plastic. It also has 2 different size holes in it. It's a very fast-paced ball for the outdoor play. The indoor ball is a softer durometer, a smaller diameter, and has 2 different size holes, and they're larger diameter holes, which slows the ball down for indoor play. This particular paddle has a honeycomb paper Nomex treated core with a composite face. There are several different cores. There are aluminum cores, there are plastic carbonate cores, there are graphite faces. It's kind of whatever fits your liking and what you like. So
the rules are simple and fairly easy to pick up. As I found out when play-by-play announcer Brad Woznicki and I decided to play a pickup game.
Basically, we play to 11. Only the serving team can score a point, and you get 1 point per volley. We have a 2-bounce rule at the beginning of the point. You have to let the ball bounce twice. It has to go over once and then come back. And then it's open game. You can hit it in the air, except you can't go into the kitchen or the non-volley zone until the ball bounces in there.
What we both found out rather quickly was that the pacing of the game is fast, and it forces you to be on your toes constantly. The rallies at the net happen often, and if your hand-eye coordination isn't there, it's really easy to get turned around at the net.
The game is a very fast-paced game. If you get 4 people that know what they're doing, it's very fast-paced, and you will have great eye-to-ball contact and hand-to-ball contact, so it's very quick.
Although Brad and I didn't know what we were doing initially, we started to figure it out and ended up playing 3 games that afternoon. Brad and his partner Charlie took the win in the third, and afterwards we began to understand why the sport has grown and will continue to grow year after year.
It is for all ages, and that's one of the great things about it. You can, both men and women can play, and all different ages can play and still have a competitive, good game and get good exercise. So.
I think if you have any racket skill or any athletic, even not a great amount of athletic ability, you can come out and have fun with this sport, because pickleball is played similarly to tennis with the skill levels from 1 to 5. And so that if you're on a court with the same skill level, you're going to have a good time at this sport. And that's the nice thing. You don't have to be a pro to enjoy pickleball.
On behalf of Brad Woznicki and I just wanted to send a special thank you to Marcia Cook and the rest of the pickleball players for helping us with this feature and obviously teaching us the ways. If you'd like to find out more about the sport, you can go to www.toledopickleball.com. There are leagues signing up for the winter. Now, I'm sure at this point you're wondering, why am I out at a golf course? Well, a golf outing at Toledo Country Club recently brought in big bucks for a good cause. Stay tuned to find out what. Welcome back to The Light Side. My name is Kate Longenecker and I'm your host. I recently covered an event at the Toledo Country Club which benefited a local charity that is so great in this community. Nestled back on Superior Street in the heart of Toledo is the Aurora House, which is a home where women in need can go on their own or with their children to stay for an indefinite period of time. During my time visiting the house, the executive director, Denise Fox, explained the program and why it has a proven success rate to get women back on their feet and back into the community at the end of their stay.
It's an actually very structured program. The families actually may live here for up to 2 years, but as you and I talked earlier, we do have an itinerary. So women have to be up, dressed, ready to go by 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's very similar to the structure that we have in our own lives, only oftentimes the women that we have here haven't had that structure. They haven't had benefit of families that will show them that type of structure. The other part of our program is it's not about a handout. we are really a hand up, and there's an expectation when our women first come to us. We want them to get stable, we want them to get the supportive services that they need, but at the same time we're also offering programming here. We have a relapse prevention program, we have a computer skills program, we have a life skills program, which is phenomenal. I mean, it basically teaches you how to plan a menu, how to manage your day, how to manage your finances. I mean, all of those things are so important. And we have GED classes on site now, which are offered by the Penta Adult Career Center. So we have GED classes 3 times a week. If we have women who happen to have their education, their high school educations, we start to look at the colleges and the local community colleges and also UT and move our women forward. Employment is also important. I mean, we want our women in the community. We want them giving back. So they're also responsible for not only, getting their lives in order, they also take care of this house, and it's a 5,500 square foot home. And so they do a lot of the cooking, the cleaning, the lawn, the tending of the lawn, all of those types of things, small projects like that. As far as small maintenance projects, they're all involved in that. It's phenomenal, it's overwhelming, and it's very supportive.
The house itself has 13 units equipped with a kitchen, computer lab, garden, and an outdoor playing facility for the kids. Behind the house are 4 step-up units, which are for stable women to get them ready to move up to permanent housing. One former resident, Karen Fowler, successfully completed the program. Before coming to Aurora, like many other women, she tried to work out her demons on her own and wasn't recognizing the core issues.
What I learned about Aurora and why it was really fitting for me is that it is a structured, routine, goal-oriented program. Unlike my fits and starts getting sober before and then living with family and trying to get a job and get it all back together in a big hurry, I needed the time to really step aside, be in a place where I could be accountable to a neutral force, unlike family that has a real investment, and really take months to rebuild, in a logical way, the things that had gone wrong in my life. I think sometimes it's interesting to people, like, why is it so, ironclad, and why is it so regimented? And it's because so many of us come into this without any sense of a routine or personal goals or how to get, through a week and follow appointments without, confusion. So it really was a huge skill building that. There are a lot of smaller challenges that lead to this character building while you're here. Learning to, begin to be self-sufficient and independent, a lot of time for the first time in someone's life. From me, I had gone to college, I had some education, I just kind of slid down this slope where I hadn't been living, as well as I should have been. And so this was a great platform for me to really get my whole life together. I was able to have my son here with me, and take these baby steps, and they were really important.
Fast forward 8 years. Karen has completed her degree, her son is 13 and on the honor roll, and she even works at the Aurora House at the front desk. Karen is one of many women who entered the doors in need.
What we found is it's women with chemical dependency or mental health or a loss of a job or abuse. There's so many reasons why women will, come to Aurora and why they end up here. The other piece that I think is so incredibly important for people to remember as well is it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. We really look at Aurora and we look at our consumers and these women and our families and say, what do you need? What do you think you need? And let's develop a program that fits the need of these women and fits the need of the children. And it's also very supportive and long-term, because one of the things that we have found is there is not a quick fix for this. Many of our women may have had family histories of abuse. There may have been family histories of poverty. I have said many, many times that any woman who completes this program will continue to do well in the community. Statistically, we know that if a lady completes the program, 70% of these women will continue to move on and be successful and will be contributing members of our society. Their families will remain intact. They will be employed and working on educational goals. We won't see them, coming back or cycling back through the system. They will be independent women. And that's our goal. That's what we want to do for them.
Recently, a golf outing at Toledo Country Club helped Aurora reach their goals, raising over $13,000 that went towards the program.
our program is very cost effective. One of the things that we look at is, keeping our overhead expenses very low so that we can continue to offer services, to our families. But we are a very cost-effective program. For about $30 a day, we can feed, clothe, house, and provide programming and services to, a woman. So it's very cost-effective when you keep families together. And at the end of the day, it's better for the children. It's better for them to have their moms to be together, to work on the problems together.
And if you'd like to get involved, you can visit the website at the bottom of your screen. You can donate, volunteer. They even have a fundraiser coming up this holiday season. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the light side. For this next feature, I made my way out east, and a beautiful day turned into an amazing event. For one weekend out of the year, downtown Clyde is full of visitors who get to enjoy the festival activities such as rides, pageants, car shows, and so much more, all leading up to the finale on Sunday. The streets, they're shut down, and competitors from all over the Midwest come to race their own go-karts in the hopes of winning the Clyde Grand Prix, which offers one of the most challenging courses for racers.
Well, the potholes, and it's just a road course in general, so you got divots and everything. Every road's not level. You got mislevelness of the roads, and it's challenging. It's a road course, so I mean, you're out there driving a regular car like that. It's challenging. You can get up to speeds, 50, 55, 60 miles per hour, even more. It all depends on how your gear ratio is.
Streets are so much different than a track. Track gets rubber buildup. Out here, cars just drive around, and there's no rubber on the track, so you get a lot of spots where it's not quite as tacky as what a racetrack would be. And then you also got curbs. You also have manholes. You also got straw bales sitting around. You got to maneuver around and everything else.
For teammates Robert and Jason, after their practice rounds, they began making adjustments to their karts, leading up to their respective heat races.
Pretty good. I think pretty smooth. The other times I didn't finish, I either chain come off or my steering broke. So finishing it, was just, I felt really good. A couple adjustments. Other than that, it's hopefully a good finish. So we can finish the race. I'll be happy.
Changing the clutch. I'm actually put a whole different clutch on. And then I'm also changing the gear on the back because I'm only not quite pulling enough RPMs down the end of the stretch.
During Jason's heat round, he ran into some unexpected turbulence when his chain popped. He was able to get it back mid-race and was even able to finish the heat. For both Jason and Robert, they started because of the little boy, but they kept coming back year after year for the excitement.
I started off with my son. He was too small for sports and school and stuff like that, and took him to his first race, and I couldn't get him to sit still, and we've been doing it ever since.
Well, I've been actually with my brother-in-law for probably the last 15 years with his son, and then the Clyde race is actually my third year at the Clyde year. The first 2 years weren't so good. I didn't even finish practice, so accomplishing that goal, finishing practice, is definitely a positive. I can't wait to go out and finish her out. The thrill of just getting in the cart, just going, you're able to drive on the course going fast and not being able to get in trouble or whatnot. I think that's the best part about it, just driving.
Going fast.
Ricky Bobby?
Yeah.
I want to go fast.
I want to go fast. But I don't know. I mean, just something about it. I'm a speed demon, so I just love anything that helps me go fast, and go fast is what I do. So.
During the feature race, Robert's kart had a mechanical failure and couldn't make it to the finish line. Mason, on the other hand, had a lot of success, finishing 5th out of 18. Well, folks, earlier in the show, Sports Nightly's Ken Watlington showed you how the links at Fifth Third were created. So what was next? Well, of course, him and the Sports Nightly guys had to try it out.
Looks good. Looks good. Got it.
Oh. We've gotten a lot of national exposure through ESPN, through the PGA, and it's something that's very unique for Toledo right now.
Get it. Get it. Get it.
Oh, so pretty. So Turning now from mini golf to an indoor sport. Ottawa Hills, typically the home of the Green Bears, but last week the school was decked out in pink for a good cause.
Well, it's Volley for the Cure. They hold them, I believe, all across the country, but Ohio has a really good presence. So all our proceeds go to that, which is breast cancer research.
After getting started in 2006, Volley for the Cure has had success by not only raising funds, but also raising awareness for breast cancer. During the 2013 season alone, Volley for the Cure raised over $2 million to support local Susan G. Komen for the Cure.
Well, the more research we can do, you know, the hope is that we get closer to a cure, definitely, you know.
For Erica, she puts together the event and has a personal connection to the cause.
My grandma had breast cancer, and right now I have a cousin whose husband is actually battling breast cancer, which is really odd to hear about, but you know, he's actually been in and out of it for like 3 different bouts with it, so it's not something you hear a lot about with men, but you know, we've been trying to get the word out more since he's still battling it.
The OH players have been getting the word out about the cause, doing their part by volunteering to help with many fundraisers throughout the week. Head coach Rick Gherkin says their enthusiasm is hard to miss.
The girls are pumped up. They always look forward to this. I mean, there's a lot that goes on in school even before this with bake sales and, you know, the winter or the fall festivals this weekend, so it continues on through that.
The pink was prominent in the gym during the match between Emmanuel Christian and Ottawa Hills. Pink bows, pink shirts, and even pink volleyballs made the cause clear to everyone watching. Well, that'll do it for this week's Light Side here at Crosswinds in Perrysburg. Thank you for letting me use your facility, and thank you viewers for watching. My name is Kate Longenecker. I will see you next time.